Disaster has struck Indonesia's island of Sumatra, leaving entire communities reeling in shock and disbelief. What began as a distant weather warning quickly escalated into a catastrophe of historic proportions. In late November and early December 2025, a rare and powerful cyclone formed over the Malacca Strait, unleashing relentless rain and fierce winds. The storm battered the coastline for days, with wind gusts tearing through palm trees and waves crashing over seawalls, leaving little time for residents to prepare. Rivers overflowed their banks, flooding towns and villages, while hillsides, soaked for days, gave way to deadly landslides. Entire neighborhoods vanished beneath muddy torrents, and families scrambled to higher ground as the water rose with terrifying speed. Mud, rocks, and trees thundered down, destroying homes, roads, and bridges in seconds. The force of nature was overwhelming, leaving behind a trail of destruction that cut off villages and isolated thousands. The devastation is being called the worst since the 2004 tsunami. For many, the scenes of destruction are hauntingly familiar, reviving memories of past tragedies and deepening the sense of loss. Entire districts are struggling to cope, and recovery will take years. Families are left with nothing but the clothes on their backs, and communities are banding together to clear debris and search for missing loved ones. The storm's reach extended beyond Indonesia, affecting Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam. Across the region, millions have been impacted, with homes and livelihoods swept away by the relentless floodwaters. But Sumatra has suffered the most severe impact. Here, the destruction is widespread, and the path to recovery will be long and uncertain. Millions now face a landscape of destruction and loss. Homes, schools, and businesses have been reduced to rubble, and the basic necessities of life are in short supply. The focus is on urgent rescue and relief for those whose lives have been upended. Emergency teams are working around the clock, delivering food, water, and medical aid to survivors stranded by the floods. Across Southeast Asia, the scale of this disaster is almost unimaginable. The world is watching as the region comes together to respond to this unprecedented crisis. The people of Sumatra are at the heart of this tragedy. Their resilience and courage in the face of overwhelming loss inspire hope, even as they mourn what has been lost. Their struggle for survival has just begun, but their determination to rebuild and support one another shines through the darkness of disaster. The tragedy unfolding in Sumatra is staggering, leaving a deep scar on the heart of the nation. Entire communities have been swept away, and the scale of devastation is almost impossible to comprehend. As of December 13, 2025, over 1,000 people are confirmed dead, with hundreds still missing beneath the mud and debris. The numbers continue to rise as search teams work tirelessly, braving dangerous conditions in hopes of finding survivors. Rescue teams search through thick mud and shattered homes, their efforts hampered by unstable ground and relentless rain. Each day that passes, hope for those still missing grows dimmer, but the determination of the rescuers never wavers. Families gather outside emergency shelters, clinging to hope and praying for a miracle. Their faces are etched with worry and exhaustion as they wait for any news about their loved ones who have vanished in the chaos. More than 5,400 people are injured, many suffering from severe wounds caused by collapsing buildings, landslides, and fast-moving floodwaters. Medical teams are stretched thin, doing everything they can to save lives with limited resources. Hospitals are overwhelmed, with corridors crowded and makeshift clinics set up wherever possible. Medical supplies are running dangerously low, and doctors and nurses work around the clock, often without rest. The death toll is expected to rise as search efforts continue, and the grim task of recovering bodies from the wreckage goes on day and night. Behind every number is a family shattered by loss. A mother, a father, a child, or a friend whose absence leaves a void that can never be filled. The pain and sorrow are felt in every home and every corner of the community. Grief hangs heavy in the air, as survivors try to come to terms with the enormity of what has happened. These are not just statistics. They are real people, each with their own stories, dreams, and families. Their lives have been forever changed in an instant. The scale of human suffering is immense, and the road to recovery will be long and difficult for everyone affected. Across the nation, people come together in mourning, holding vigils and offering prayers for the victims and their families. In this time of darkness, unity and compassion shine through. The search for survivors continues, but the reality is grim. Every hour that passes makes the task more difficult, Yet hope persists in the hearts of those who refuse to give up. The disaster's true cost is measured not just in numbers, but in lives forever changed, in families torn apart, and in the resilience of those who remain. Sumatra faces a long and difficult road to healing, but together, its people will find the strength to rebuild and move forward, one day at a time. The floods and landslides have left more than 1 million people homeless, forcing entire communities to abandon everything they once knew. In a matter of hours, neighborhoods were swallowed by water and mud, turning familiar streets into rivers and fields into lakes. Over 100,000 homes and buildings have been destroyed or damaged beyond repair. The devastation stretches for miles, with entire blocks reduced to piles of debris and twisted metal. For many, there is nothing left to return to. No walls, no roofs, just memories of what once stood. Families fled with nothing but the clothes on their backs, clutching a few precious belongings as they made their way through waist-deep water. The chaos of evacuation left little time to gather keepsakes or essentials, and many were separated from loved ones in the rush to escape. Temporary shelters, schools, government buildings, tents, are now home to 1.2 million people. These makeshift refugees are crowded and noisy, offering little privacy or comfort. But they are the only safe haven for those who have lost everything. Conditions are harsh, overcrowded, lacking food, clean water, and medicine. Long lines form for every meal, and supplies are stretched thin. Children and the elderly are especially vulnerable, as basic necessities become scarce. Disease threatens to spread in these cramped spaces, where sanitation is difficult to maintain, and medical care is limited. Volunteers work tirelessly, but the risk of outbreaks looms large. Parents worry for their children's health and safety, haunted by uncertainty and the trauma of sudden displacement. Every day brings new challenges and fears for the future. Despite hardship, people share what little they have. Neighbors support one another, and volunteers bring hope with every meal and gesture of kindness. Stories of loss are everywhere, but so are acts of kindness. In the darkest moments, compassion and solidarity shine through, helping survivors cope with grief and uncertainty. The journey to rebuild will be long and uncertain. Clearing debris and salvaging what remains is just the beginning of a recovery that will take months, if not years. For now, survival depends on aid and the resilience of the displaced. Relief efforts are ongoing, but the scale of need is overwhelming, and every bit of help counts. Their lives are on hold, waiting for the waters to recede. Each day is a test of patience and endurance, as families hope for news and a chance to return home. The future is uncertain, but hope persists. Smiles, prayers, and small victories remind everyone that recovery is possible, even in the face of overwhelming loss. Communities are determined to endure. Together, they plan, rebuild, and support each other, drawing strength from unity and shared purpose. The struggle for normalcy has only just begun, but with resilience and hope, these communities are taking the first steps toward healing and rebuilding their lives. Amid the devastation, personal stories reveal the true impact. Sri Lestari, 50, from Aceh Tamiang, lost almost everything when floodwaters and uprooted trees smashed her home. She escaped with her 3 children moments before their house collapsed. Now, they live in a small tent near the ruins, exposed to rain and cold. Every day is a struggle for food, water, and safety. Their belongings and memories are buried under mud. Sri tries to stay strong for her children, but fear and uncertainty weigh heavily. Her story mirrors thousands of families across Sumatra. They rely on each other and the kindness of strangers to survive. These stories remind us that disasters are about real people, not just numbers. The courage of families like Shri's is a testament to the human spirit. Shri's husband, Tarmiji, faces despair as he surveys the ruins of their home. Once a provider, he now feels powerless. His farm buried in mud, his fishing boat gone. With no work and no savings, the family depends entirely on aid. The uncertainty is overwhelming. How will they rebuild? How will they feed their children? Many survivors share this sense of hopelessness. The emotional toll is as heavy as the physical loss. Recovery seems distant, and the path forward is unclear. Yet, families like Tarmiji's must find the strength to start over. Their struggle is echoed in villages across Sumatra. The hidden wounds of this disaster will take years to heal. The Indonesian government has launched a massive relief operation. The National Disaster Mitigation Agency, BNPB, leads efforts to deliver food, water, blankets, and medicine. President Prabowo Subianto visited devastated areas, promising swift action and support. Rescue teams now reach previously isolated villages, bringing hope to survivors. The government estimates rebuilding will cost over 51 trillion rupiah, about $3.1 billion. For now, Indonesia is handling recovery alone, relying on soldiers, police, and volunteers. Helicopters deliver supplies to remote communities cut off by destroyed roads. The scale of the response is unprecedented. Every effort is focused on saving lives and restoring hope. The road to recovery is long, but the commitment is strong. The government's actions are crucial for Sumatra's future. Despite massive efforts, delivering aid is a huge challenge. Destroyed roads and bridges block trucks from reaching many villages. Helicopters can only carry limited supplies, and bad weather often grounds them. Some survivors wait days for food, water, and medical care. Frustration grows as help arrives too slowly for many. Overcrowded shelters and scarce resources strain aid workers. The sheer number of displaced people makes logistics overwhelming. The government's decision not to seek international help adds pressure. International organizations could speed up relief, but for now, Indonesia goes it alone. The gap between promises and reality is stark. Survivors feel forgotten as they wait for help. The burden on local resources is immense. Speeding up aid is critical to prevent further suffering. For many in Sumatra, this disaster revives memories of the 2004 tsunami. That tragedy killed hundreds of thousands and changed Aceh forever. The current floods and landslides have created a similar scene of destruction. Old wounds are reopened as communities relive past trauma. After the tsunami, international aid rebuilt homes and lives. Now, 2 decades later, survivors face another test of resilience. The scale of loss is compared to 2004, though the causes differ. Aceh Tamiang, hit hard then and now, feels the weight of history repeating. Yet, the community draws strength from past recovery. Shared experience and unity fuel their determination to rebuild. The spirit that survived the tsunami is alive once more. Amid sorrow, hope shines through in Sumatra. Neighbors share food and water, clearing mud and searching for the missing together. Acts of kindness and solidarity light the darkest days. Aid workers and volunteers are heroes, saving lives and bringing comfort. Every delivery of supplies is a message. You are not alone. Plans for rebuilding offer a glimpse of a better future. The promise of new homes and schools gives people strength. The road ahead is long, but hope fuels survival. The resilience of families like Shree's inspires all. Across Sumatra, courage and compassion are everywhere. People mourn, but they also look forward. The unbreakable human spirit will help heal and rebuild. From the ruins, a new future will rise.